fucking hate going live after my team loses, bro.
Don't know what that feels like for the U.S.
you, bro. Fuck you, man. I wish we did this 10 years ago, man.
Hey, come
I wish
on.
we did this 10 years ago because you'd be like this every fucking week, man. I hate that I have to get on here and talk about football after what I just saw, dude. Mexico loses. Pineda misses a penalty, and, you know, I hit everything that was in the living room in that moment. I hit the chair, I hit the table, I hit the screen, I hit everything.
He hit me.
I hit you?
He hit me,
you
guys.
got some scars, too. Everything to show for it, bro. Mexico loses with Orbelín Pineda missing a penalty in a game that ultimately was defined by penalties. When Venezuela scoring theirs due to the beautiful finish from El Rey Salomón. But once again, we see a continuation. And I'm sorry if I sound a little weird, it's because I completely disassociated. Reynoso isn't here. Reynoso isn't here among us. I am just like his trauma, his defense trauma, just acting up and just taking care of business, while Reynoso just Reynoso just tries to cope with what just happened. It's a continuation of what we've seen with the Mexican national team. Chat, let it all out. This is a therapy session for us Mexico fans, and if you're not a Mexico fan, low-key rejoice, because Venezuela, my God, looks good.
Yeah, I mean, they look good, but I think what really stood out to me more so was the way Mexico ended this match. The last 20 minutes, I thought Mexico were going to die in this game and go out quietly with Venezuela holding on to a 1-0 lead. But no, it was actually Mexico who took it to Venezuela. Venezuela decided to park the bus and keep the 1-0 lead. And I got to say, this was the best ending to a Mexico game I've seen in years for me. And honestly, I think they did deserve to get the draw. There were so many opportunities. Memote Martinez getting an opportunity late on. The goalkeeper did well to keep his opportunities as narrow as possible. Gino Huerta had a couple of opportunities, but he just couldn't get past that Venezuelan back line that was so stout. And then, of course, the penalty, man. I mean, Mexico saying deserved a goal. That was the opportunity.
Well, yeah,
that's the opportunity. And the moment was simply too big for Pineda. That's how it was,
man.
He got nervous.
I think he got nervous because for the first time in his career, I see him take a penalty without doing his classic little stutter step. And it's actually so reliable. He's so good at them in the past. I've seen him be big in those moments. But today, just looking at the moment, the pressure, the people in the crowd, Pineda just, got in his head and just shot a really wacky, soft shot to the bottom left corner that was saved by the goalkeeper. What did y'all think about that penalty? And be honest, when Orbelín Pineda was stepping up to it, did y'all think he was going to make it? Because I felt good about him shooting it, man. I felt good about him because I saw Memo wanted to take it. I saw the other people were trying to get it, maybe Luis Chavez. But we've seen Pineda do it before. So the fact that he missed it the way he did, I think just proves that the moment was way too big, bro, because I'll be honest, even I was like super fucking nervous once that moment happened.
Yeah. It was pretty nuts. I mean, the image was insane. The noise in SoFi, packed, by the way. For me, best atmosphere so far at this Copa America. And that's what Pineda had to do. He had to give the people what they were begging for, but he simply could not do it. The thousands of Mexico fans, I think ultimately just got into his head, because you're right. He hit that so weakly, man. It was so wimpy from Pineda. And Romo reads it very well, gets down low, a beautiful save. At the end of the day, we do have to give credit there. And Venezuela hold on to this 1-0 lead, and they get another 3 points. They're through to the next round.
They're through. And I think, but correct me if I'm wrong, chat, I think this is the first time in history that Venezuela defeats Mexico, or at the very least, I think they might have had one victory over us, but we had like 10 straight victories. I think this is the first time Venezuela gets a victory over us, which is just so significant of where this Venezuela team is right now, really turning into something really positive for them, getting through to the Copa America quarterfinals already. And if they take care of business in their next game against Jamaica, they could potentially get out in first place and not have to face Argentina. That is insane for Venezuela and what people thought would happen in this tournament. So shout out to them. But for Mexico, man, I mean, I agree. It just felt like I thought it was very similar to the Saudi Arabia match, where we just woke up way too late. We started to impose ourselves. And in the Saudi Arabia match, we got 2 goals and we just needed one more to be able to get through, and we weren't able to do it. It felt the same way today, where 10 more minutes, and I wonder if we could have tied this match, because we were playing so well. The offensive weapons were all on the pitch with Alexis Vega, Chino Huerta, I thought had a good appearance, and Memo as well. And I thought it was going to come, and I thought that penalty was going to be the moment. But the feeling I'm feeling right now is just too often, man. It just didn't happen. It just didn't happen. And once again, it's just disappointment for this national team. So now we're in a tight situation, and we're gonna do a poll here. What do you guys think about the Mexico-Ecuador matchup? Because basically, the knockout tournament starts now for us with this matchup against Ecuador. Both of us on 3 points now. And I think Ecuador has the advantage now in goal differential. So all they need is a draw. Yeah. Whereas we're going to have to beat this Ecuadorian side. What result does Mexico get? Let us know in the poll that we're putting up right now. What happens after this performance that we saw against Venezuela? Because are we good enough to beat this Ecuadorian side who defeated Jamaica today? Are we good enough, chat? Let me know. Do we get a draw? Is that what ends up happening? Or do we get a victory here and actually get out of this group? Or at the end of the day, do we get grouped? It looks like the chat thinks Ecuador gets the result with 68%, Mexico at 20%. Mexico at 20%, draw at 14%, Mexico out. Vamos Ecuador. I'm officially retiring watching Mexico, says one of the super chats. Christian says, I'm officially retiring from watching Mexico. Damn, dude, retiring?
No, come on, man. It's not over. Ecuador are beatable this time
Ecuador.
around.
We'll
They're
talk
not
about
looking
Ecuador.
too convincing.
We'll talk about Ecuador. Does Mexico get grouped? Does Mexico get grouped? That's the next question. That's the biggest question of all. Does Mexico get grouped? And in the meantime, we're talking about the disappointment of Orbelín Pineda and that big moment and how he didn't step up to it. We need to talk about Santi Jimenez.
Let's talk about him.
We need to talk about Santi Jimenez, who played for 60 minutes in this match and once again got subbed off from Memo Rodriguez, and rightfully so.
60th, though, that's crazy. I think that just shows you how much Jimmy Lozano is not liking his play and overall how unproductive he is on the pitch.
We mentioned it last time. His touches, his confidence, his link-up play, it's not there, bro. I was like watching and I'm like, bro, we have to find a way to convince this dude that he's in fucking Rotterdam. That he's in like he's in Europe and he's a Dutch, he's like in a Dutch atmosphere. We have to find a way to convince him that he's not in the US, because every time he plays here, outside of that Gold Cup final where he scored the game winner, we see a different version of Santi. And I know that there's reasons, the players around him, the system around him, but I think the things that I'm seeing aren't even systematic with him. It's just simple things like hold up play, link up play, his touches on the ball. He just doesn't look confident. Like the responsibility that's been given to him might be too big. And he just isn't ready to take it upon himself to be that guy for us. So I'm disappointed, man. I'm disappointed because now it's 2 straight games of underwhelming Santi performances.
Dude, and the perfect indicator of all of that, what you just said, is that first chance early on in the game when he breaks through. It's a brilliant run, and he gets on the end of a good pass, and it's basically one-on-one. There's pressure coming on him for sure, don't get me wrong, but Santi Jimenez in the Netherlands puts a good boot behind that ball, and he whiffs it, completely whiffs it. And then in that moment, I was like, oh, okay, this is Santi when he wears the Mexico jersey. He cannot repeat his form that he has in Europe, and it's bizarre.
Yeah, I don't know. All I can say is I need him to wake up. I need him to find it, because we're trying to give him that role, but he don't want it, man. He don't want it ultimately. And we got to say the same thing about Julián Quiñones, who in a very frustrating way caused that penalty for Venezuela. In a very frustrating way after Cesar Montes, who went down at halftime, and I'm concerned about that as well.
Yeah.
And Vasquez had really good games at center back, in my opinion, as well as Israel Reyes. I thought they were all great. It was an offensive player that caused the penalty, just playing way too aggressive there. Julián Quiñones, just an idiotic play, man. He was so erratic the whole match. You could see like his emotion. He was very into it, but maybe a little too much, because he overplayed that play way too much, but he was on his ass, literally, man.
Literally on it.
He was on it, dude, for no reason, and he causes the penalty and no one puts it in, man. We have to be critical about that, because you cannot be doing that if you're Julián Quiñones.
Yeah, it was just such a rash decision from Quiñones, and I understand it. His energy was actually great going forward, but defensively, you have to keep your head, be level in that moment. But no, he used that same energy he had on offense and on defense. Obviously, he's not a defender, and he just gets way too tight. Such a rash decision to get that tight. It's a foul all day long. Venezuela put it home, but yeah, it sucks that that's ultimately how Mexico lose this match, if you think about it, because Venezuela, I mean, if we're being honest, were kept out of Mexico's box due to the back four of Mexico. They were fantastic today. Great, it was such a good defensive display from Mexico. Mexico. Venezuela did have a lot of possession, but it was all in the midfield. They could not break into the final third, and it was because of Mexico's defense. So yes, it sucks that it ends up being a Quiñones foul that does Mexico in.
Which brings me to my next question. Outside of the defense, looking up top with what we saw from Quiñones, Antuna, and Jimenez, we need a result now against Ecuador. Who do you guys have as your starting front three for the next match? Do we just run it back? Do we just run it back with these three and hope that they can show up for once? Or does Santi get benched? Does Quiñones get rotated out? Chino Huerta, I thought was really good in his appearance. Does Alexi Vega find a way to get into here? Let me know in the chat, what is your front three for the next match against Ecuador? Because we need a result. We need a result now. We need goals. And I just don't know if we can really get that with a Quiñones, Santi, Antuna lineup to start. I know that the quality is better with them in regards to comparing them to other players, but the form just isn't there. They're not dynamic. The chemistry maybe. Something's not working. What do we do here? I'm seeing people say drop Antuna. Huerta was a bright spot.
He was.
Rondon over Santi. I agree. Rondon's a baller. Rondon is a baller. Alexis Vega, Memo Martinez, and Chiro Huerta start simply. We need to stop with the 4-3-3. I agree with that too. There needs to be a new formation for sure. Piojo, underrated. Chiquito Sanchez, maybe getting minutes as well. Vega, Santi, Chino. That sounds exciting. Vega, Antuna, Santi. I mean, yeah. There's a lot of formations we could go with here. There's a lot of options. People are saying Pulisic, Balogun, and Way.
Hey, shout out real quick.
Yeah, I just think we need to try something different. Because offensively, we played like ass.
Yeah.
Until this changes.
Yeah, until the changes. And that's what I'm saying. I actually like Mimote so far. He's had 2 good appearances coming off the bench. Honestly, maybe start him alongside Santi, get that 4-4-2 going that we've been begging for. Quiñones on the left-hand side, even though he did make this mistake defensively, he was fantastic. He had so many opportunities to really penetrate Venezuela, and I thought he did a decent job. There was a really nice switch, that diagonal ball to Quiñones that Mexico pulled off a lot. Mm-hmm. So I think they'll find that same joy if they do that same tactic against Ecuador. Hopefully Quiñones ends up being a little bit more clinical if he gets that playing time on that left side. So there's hope for Mexico. I do think based off the last 20 minutes in this game, they know that, all right, let's take that same energy and apply it to the entire game against Ecuador. There is still hope, but it's going to be tough because Ecuador are a good team.
Let's look at some super chats. What are you guys saying? I'm excited to see what the fans of the Give and Go are saying in regards to Mexico. Michael Vox says, do y'all think Mexico will make it out of the group? We just asked the chat, and the poll had Mexico getting grouped at 75%. 75, because the problem is that a draw isn't enough for us anymore. And that's the part that really hurts us, because now we have to defeat this Ecuadorian side. Now we have to defeat them. I can't say it. IRVLOZ says, you are both Mexican. Venezuela is not a good team. Anything can win.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm going to guess what he says there. Ultimately, yes. I mean, Mexico had a good 20 minutes. They should have equalized 100%. Venezuela aren't that good, but they are solid, and they got the win today. I think they deserved it, but Mexico could have drawn here, definitely.
When was the last time Mexico beat a Conmebol team, says Fernando Cruz? I think it was like in a friendly, maybe against Peru. But if we're talking about a meaningful match in a major tournament, I would have to think in 2016 when they beat Venezuela, when they beat Uruguay 3-1, perhaps. That might be the last time they beat a Conmebol side, I think, 8 years ago. Yeah. Ant says, I'm going to that Mexico versus Ecuador game. I am cooked. Am I cooked? Like Soltero mentioned, there's a little bit of hope here.
I think there's hope.
There's a little bit of hope here. Ecuador is not as good as I think we all thought they would be in this tournament, but they still are a formidable side, so it'll be an interesting game. Captain Crunch Guy says, blame Mexico for not producing canteranos buenos and not giving them playing time. Pumas, America, and Chivas, Cruz Azul, canteras are the problem. So the production of quality players exposing itself with the national team. I mean, this just goes to a deeper question of us just not generating enough good talent in general right now. We're in a dark period, and losing Edson last game,
massive,
and now if we end up losing Cesar Montes, man,
oh my god,
that's like 2 of our 3 best players off of this roster. So we live and die by those guys. Uriel Parra says, this Mexico team reminds me of a dog that is all bark and no bite. The Chihuahua that gets bullied nonstop. Damn.
And I actually kind of agree with that analysis, though, because in general, Mexico only looked dangerous when they're just throwing everything at the team. So if they don't have that surprise factor, the quality Mexico will never beat a team. It's not the quality that wins games. It's pure energy. It's just pure in the moment type of attack. But if you're expecting Mexico to knock the ball around, get really nice incisive passing going, it's not going to happen.
That's true, man.
So it's a lot of bite or a lot of bark, but no real bite because simply the quality's not there.
Yeah. We just need to go crazy and get our goals because, bro, we're not going to outsmart another team.
No,
we haven't done that in years, bro. You're right. No, you're completely right. Guys, like this stream. If you're coping with me in regards to this Mexico loss, like the stream for us. Just show a little support because I've had a bad day. I've had a very bad day. And I just want to get some likes on this stream. Please subscribe to the channel. We are so close to 100,000 subs. So close. Please subscribe. Let's go back to the super chat to see what the folks are saying because I love how active you guys are. This is therapy. This is therapy. You guys need Omar Bravo, I see. I completely agree, man. Imagine if we had Omar Bravo, Chicharito, Carlos Vela, Bofo Bautista even. Bruh. Cuauhtémoc Blanco. The players that we used to have. Players that we used to have, man. Hurts my soul. Gastelum the Great 2 says, being a fan of Mexico is an embarrassment. Puro USA from today. He's switching.
Welcome to the side of freedom, my friend.
You taking applications and shit?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And you immediately get in. All you have to do is just say USA. You're in.
Wow.
Let's go.
Wow. Well,
let's have some fun at this Copa. Let's have some fun at the Copa, boys.
I'm staying put. Y'all can have that. Bvart says, it is a good day today. Get Mexico out of here. Hey, if you're a USA fan, you're enjoying this Mexican downfall they've been seeing for the past few years.
I'm not saying I'm enjoying it. I want to make that clear,
I'm just saying other US fans probably are, though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Captain Crunch Guy, boycott all of Mexico games. Don't give them money. I wonder what kind of effect that would have, man. Like truly, just not watching the games on TV, not going to the matches. Like, would the Mexican Federation suddenly be like, okay, well, let's start Chino Huerta then? Like, what's the response? What's the response to them not generating money? What changes? I don't know. I don't know if I could actually see that being beneficial ultimately for the team.
I wonder, well, honestly, Mexico getting grouped at the Copa America is a huge embarrassment. It was tough at the World Cup because you had Argentina, feisty Saudi Arabia, and a weird Poland side, right? So that kind of makes sense why Mexico got grouped, but getting grouped at the Copa America, that just can't happen because it's basically at home when every USA home game is also a home game for Mexico. This cannot happen. Hopefully this is the wake-up call for the Mexican Federation to be like, all right, guys, we just got grouped and we're hosting the World Cup in 2 years. What the fuck are we doing?
Yeah, it just feels like we're wasting the Copa America, man.
We're
wasting it. Like, even watching them today, even if we had scored that penalty and tied it, bro, like, yes, it would have been nice, but like, we should be reaching a much higher peak for us with this tournament being here so close to home and the World Cup coming soon. Like, it just feels like a waste, man. It really does. I wish the good generations we had back in 2010 with Giovanni Dos Santos and Chicharito and all those guys, Guardado, Rafa Marquez. I wish they could have had a Copa America here during that time because even 2016 was starting to kind of dwindle on that.
Yeah.
Back in 2012 or some shit, I would have loved to see how far that Mexico team could have gone.
Damn. What a
waste, man.
What a cool thought.
Yeah, bro.
That's awesome fantasy. No, seriously, like
it's a fantasy.
No,
that's all it is, bro.
It's beautiful. Like, imagine if that squad did have that opportunity, it'd be awesome. Because the USA is very lucky that they're in the trajectory that they are right now. Very lucky.
Yeah, we are cooked. Stop living in the past, man. I mean, that's all I got, bro. That's all I got now. JRod13 says, as a Mexican American, I fell in love with soccer because of the Mexican team, but the federation is destroying the talent. I have to say USA now. Another convert.
No, I mean, the USA is playing good football, though, so enjoy.
Enjoy yourself. Base Savage sent us some money. Thank you, my friend. And then he says, I feel like crashing out, man. I feel like crashing out. I agree, though. That's exactly how I feel, too. I didn't even want to come up here, bro. I didn't want to come up here, man. The fucking ring lights are on and shit. I was laying down, just thinking about the past, and now I got to talk to a bunch of USA fans and depressed Mexico fans. Thing is, I love y'all. I love y'all. So I'm here. That's why I'm in front of camera. But I'm just saying, I feel like crashing out too, man. I feel like crashing out too. What else we got? Ghostface Quan says, never want to see Charlie or Antuna wearing the badge ever again. Take away their passports, IDs, etc. Need Chino to start this game against Ecuador. What did y'all think about Charlie playing in the midfield? I thought that was interesting with Romo pinned in the middle, Chavez on the side, and then they're putting Charlie in instead of a guy like Chiquete Sanchez, for example. I thought Charlie had a bad appearance ultimately. He couldn't string some passes together. He had a opportunity at a volley early in the game that he completely whiffed and got subbed off early in this match as well. Let me know what y'all thought about Charlie's appearance and if there was someone better in the midfield that could have replaced him in this match.
Yeah, I really like Luis Chavez, and honestly, Romo had a good game.
Romo's been solid.
Romo had a really good game, so I think those two midfielders did great. Charlie, I just have always thought he can be good in flashes or in moments, small little spells, but over the course of 90 minutes, he's going to make several mistakes. He's going to make just god-awful passes every game. So if you just want more consistency, I just need to start a better midfielder. But it's interesting because Charlie does fulfill that box-to-box role for coaches, right? And he does a good job at always running, constantly chasing the ball. So that's why he plays ultimately, right? But if you're looking for a little bit more class, Charlie's not going to be your guy.
I just feel like Charlie feels like the type of guy who at the end of class, right before you leave, he's like, teacher, you forgot to give us homework. And he's like that teacher's pet type motherfucker, bro. I feel like that's Charlie. And that's
he plays his role well for Mexico.
He plays, like, these coaches love him, bro. They love him. He's played for every Mexican coach in like the past 5 years now. It's so consistent for him. I don't know, man. I just don't think the performances from him match the amount of trust and minutes that he's been given for the national team. That's my thing. Because Chiquete Sanchez, I think, deserves it.
100%. But you could say that about most Mexican midfielders. The class isn't there. The quality's not there. Yet we still call up the same 6 to 7 midfielders, and we've been calling them up for the last 5 years, right? Nothing's changing in that regard. But it's because there's just no better midfielders out there.
Yeah. Cristian Ochoa says, Berhalter out, and can Mexico please hire someone like Guillermo Almada? Sanchez, Antuna, and Charlie need to be banned. That is crazy. Imagine if the national team did that. They just said, we're blacklisting, we are banning 3 players just out of nowhere. They get that text and they're just like, God damn it, I guess I'm not playing for the national team anymore.
Dude, Berhalter catching a stray there. God damn, man. God damn.
Brian DZ says, this game was for Alvarado or Cortizo, 100%. That's my thing, I think, is what Charlie represents, like just being kind of stuck in the mud. Just try someone else. That's all. Try Cortizo. Try even Marcelo Flores, who's been on the bench. Try someone new in that position, in my opinion. Mas Quirito says, after Santi got subbed, they finally started crossing balls into the box. It's so dumb. That's what makes Memo look good. Blaming Santi always is unfair. That actually is true, though. I did see them change their attacking momentum, their attacking ideas once Santi got out. So the timing, I guess, is a little unfortunate. I wonder how he would have done, because Memo did whiff a couple.
He did. And it goes back to the idea of Jimmy Lozano refusing to just put 2 strikers up top. Why not keep Santi? You're down a goal. Put Memote up there with him. Then you have 2 guys to cross into. So I agree. There's just weird decisions kind of all around this Mexico team. But still, in general, though, Jimenez he whiffed that shot in the first half. He whiffed it. And you just look at his form in the Netherlands, you ask for the same thing here.
Yeah. Captain Crunch Guy says, the Pumas players are trash, and I'm a Pumas fan. Damn. Well, that says a lot if he's a fan. Fernando Cruz says, why not put Marcelo Flores? At this point, I'm down for it. I'm down to just experiment, see what he can do. He's revitalized himself ever since he came to Tigres, and he hasn't really gotten a good opportunity with the national team now in a long time. So I'd love to see what he can do now, given that I think like the last meaningful appearance he had was when he missed a penalty in like some qualification game like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
He's a young player. Give him a shot. Give him an opportunity. I don't see why Jimmy hasn't looked at him yet in that regard. Cristian Ochoa says, hire Guillermo Almada. We need to change it up. He seems to like Almada a lot. What do you think about Almada?
Almada would be cool. It just reminds me of a Coca type of assignment here, which is fine because those coaches do know the league very well. But Coca didn't have any time with the national team, and it was a very rash decision to get rid of him. Now we're kind of stuck with Lozano in that sense. But yeah, I mean, if Lozano gets grouped here, he's definitely out. Almada I'd be fine with, but you'd have to give him time. Now the scary part is, does Mexico have time now, right?
Yeah.
We're 2 years out.
If Mexico gets grouped and we get it, and Jimmy Lozano gets fired, who do you want to replace him? Send me your list, send me your chats, because I've always had one person in mind for the past 4 years, bro. Before Tata, during the Juan Carlos Osorio era, I was starting to think about this guy. For me, it has always been Matias Almeida for the amazing work he did with Chivas and then going over to Europe and doing well with AEK and Athens while playing Mexican players like Orbelin Pineda up there as well. I just think he'd be such a good fit with in terms of the passion, the connection, the way they can work with these players. But then he's also very good tactically. He's tactically sound and he's trying to improve his resume. I feel like he's been working towards ultimately a national team job because he's in Greece right now. And I think the proper step next would be the Mexican national team. That is my dude. I will ride and die for that guy, mainly because I'm a Chivas fan. But I think he'd be a great shout for a Mexican national coach. If we end up going with an Argentine, it has to be Almeida.
Yeah, then that'd be a dope decision just because he took, I don't want to say mediocre, but he took a slightly above average Chivas side and he made them very formidable, very competitive. It'd be a very similar arc with this, let's just say, very average Mexican side.
Yeah, him or Rafa Marquez. I'd be interested to see. Apparently coming through the ranks of Barcelona's coaching gigs. Yeah. Maybe Rafa Marquez, the captain for Mexico for so many years, could be the next person in line. That'd be a great narrative, and I trust a guy like Rafa Marquez, man. I really do. Sounds like those are the favorites for the chat, honestly. Javier Aguirre, maybe he gets a second round with the Mexican national team. That could be fun. Rafa Marquez needs more time to develop and cook and then come to Mexico, says Chris Vergara. I do think that's what's going on with him right now. He's still trying to get his momentum going on the coaching scene. What else do we have for Super Chats? What else do we have? Because we have so many Give and Go fans saying so much in regards to this game. Let's go through. And Wolf King 32 says, thoughts on the ref tonight?
I mean, I was cool with his performance, honestly. I know he let Venezuela get very physical, but I mean, for the most part, I thought all the tackles that Venezuela made were clean. Now, obviously, Venezuela had a lot of play acting, especially Navarro got involved with Quiñones, got involved with a lot of the Mexican players. But that's not on the ref, really. That's just Venezuela, doing what they do. So I thought the ref honestly had a good game.
Yeah, I mean, if he didn't call that handball, I would have said he had a bad game. But
right.
He called it. That's the biggest call of the day. And I think he was good. Carlos Colunga Navarro says, Mexico fan, but I support all CONCACAF attorneys. A very wholesome approach.
Man. No, I like that.
Very wholesome approach.
I'm supporting Canada, too, just because they're CONCACAF. And honestly, same with Jamaica. I was rooting for Jamaica earlier today.
Daniel Carrasco says, ban all current players except Edson, Sack, Jimmy. He's jumping on board with a ban, dude. Ban is a crazy word. Y'all realize what that means? Y'all realize that means they can't come back, folks.
Exile them fully. They can't even come back to Mexico. Shit.
They're playing for Ireland or some shit just with a green kit. Uriel Parra says, if Mexico gets grouped, do you guys think Lozano gets fired? And who do you want as a replacement? Just spoke about that 5 minutes ago. Yeah. Yes, I do think they get grouped in the fit with the matchup they have against Ecuador now, where they have to get a victory. I do think Lozano goes. I think Matias Almeida would be a great replacement, or Rafa Marquez. Omar Sanchez says, good thing I got my citizenship. Vamos USA.
Hey, congrats, Omar.
Congrats on your citizenship, bro. That's big. That's beautiful. I'm happy for you. And congratulations, man. Switching up, though. I couldn't do it. I can never do it. But y'all feel free to do it. Y'all can do it. Whatever you like with your lives. I can never do it. OG Queen says, fuming with Mexico. Embarrassing defeat. Glad I'm born in New York City with Ecuadorian and Mexican parents. Santi Quiñones, poor today. Still don't trust Ecuador also. That sums it up pretty well.
Honestly, yeah, absolutely.
That sums it up pretty well. Ecuador after today. We'll talk about that in a second.
We'll talk about that in a minute.
Once we get past these super chats. That's a good take, though. Fernando Cruz says, bro, imagine if we signed Bielsa last year from Mexico. I just wonder how true those reports are, because the reports were that we ultimately turned down Bielsa and weren't open to, negotiating with him or something. I wonder if that's true, bro, because if it is, dude, that says so much about the federation, man.
Yeah.
If we ultimately turn down Bielsa. I don't want it to be true. That's kind of what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
But it would, I guess, signify just a very, very dark the decision makers we have behind the scenes if they turn down a guy as good as Marcelo Bielsa and the magic he's pulling off with Uruguay right now. So let me know in the chat, how real are those reports? Is it all just rumors, or did that actually happen?
It is interesting, though, because after Juan Carlos Osorio and then Tata Martino, Mexico have gone local. They've got, then I wonder what it's going to take for them to go back into the international market, because I just think it's a weird decision that they're only staying within Liga MX right now as far as coaches are concerned. But yeah, disappointing if they really didn't look at Bielsa ultimately.
You think, let's just play here. Mexico offers you the job. You've never coached in your life, bro. All you've done is a podcast.
No. I need to start with Greenland first. Get me on a smaller stage first.
That's what I was saying. But I was saying, like, I don't even know how to like do the behind the scenes shit. You know, I can just do the formation and shit. I can hype the boys up, but fuck, dude, getting the job, that'd be crazy, man. I'd be nervous, but it'd be dope, bro.
It'd be fun, man.
It'd be dope. I could come on as an assistant or goalkeepers coach, you know, teach them how to play goalkeeper for sure.
A little Reynoso Soltero duo.
Yeah,
here.
bro. And you just take care of the general idea, or you know, maybe we can figure it out, bro. We can figure it out.
We figure out something, bro.
Might have to be a team effort, but damn, dude, that'd be crazy. That'd be crazy because I think a change has to happen with the coaching that we are seeing. We have Prince Diablo saying Jimmy Lozano is the Mexican Southgate. All his subs are always man-for-man subs and never changes formation when they're in need of a goal. That's facts right there.
Yep.
That's facts, man. Mexican Southgate. That sounds crazy to me. Mexican Southgate.
It is really disappointing, though. You hope for something a little bit different, but we always get the same thing. The only thing that changes is the energy of the players themselves.
Someone says y'all would probably go live and get recommendations for formations and shit.
All right, guys, what do you think about today? We're playing Venezuela.
The reindeer and the octopus. God damn it, reindeers in the chat, boys. This federation should be banned. Reynoso assistant coach. God damn it. 79% saying we should coach the national team, bro. I mean, honestly, dude, and I'd bring the people into the conversation too, man. I really would. I would live stream my office conversations with like Luis Chavez and shit. Santi Jimenez. I would live stream it. And like I'd be like, Santi, look at the chat real quick. Look at what they're saying. Listen to him. Let it soak in. Andre Jardín is a recommendation that Captain Crunch Guy says for head coach. Lord Alex 69 says we have talent. We have football in our blood. It will be a matter of time until the sun will shine on us again. Rafa will one day get us to the World Cup as coach. That's all we have to hope for now.
Yeah,
that's all we have to hope for.
I think it's something good. I think it's something good to hope for, just because Mexico does have football in their blood, man. Maybe this just is a dark generation, but maybe the kids that saw Giovanni in 2014, maybe they're just starting to kick balls around now. So Maybe there's something on the horizon, but probably not in the next 2 years.
Yeah. Un burrito de asada says, what a fucking circus. I'm brown and proud, but it's starting to hurt. Like being brown is starting to hurt. Oh, the amount of missed chances is stressful.
Stressful today, man. I really thought Mexico were going to equalize, but they just simply could not, and that's what surprised me. I thought it was destined for 1-1, but Mexico couldn't do it.
Carlos Colunga Navarro says, I got Portuguese passport. Might be time to switch it. Bro, if you've had that passport, what the hell are you doing supporting Mexico, man? If you've had that, bro, you should be in fucking Lisbon right now, man. Wixa Game Central says, if Berhalter does the bare minimum, and for Mexico the bare minimum is a World Cup title, then isn't he the perfect manager for Mexico? Berhalter coaching Mexico would be one of the craziest narratives I've ever seen in CONCACAF history.
It'd be a crazy switch to go from USA a long time and then just go to Mexico. I don't know if that's ever happened, right?
No, I don't think that's happened. Yeah. I mean, Jesse Marsch might be the closest thing to something like that.
Closest thing.
Yeah. OG Queen says, Mexico Federation are money-hungry pricks. Let it out. Let it out. They love their money. They love stacking up their pockets. It's definitely a big part of what's going on right now with how little exports we have to Europe as well, with the league just spending money on each other. Chiquito Sanchez is going to America, I saw. He's staying in Liga MX. It's just part of the very toxic system we have going on at the local domestic level. FIFA Rigged says, Portugal, decirme que se siente a Georgia a su papá. How does it feel to have Georgia as your daddy? To Portugal. ¿Cómo se siente Francia y Países Bajos? Penaldo. Damn, coming in with that Euro talk, bro.
God
talk. Damn.
No, but for real, Georgia, talk your shit right now.
Yeah, man, Georgia.
What a win earlier today.
Joaquin Tinoco says, put Soltero and Reynoso on the national team. We have better chance of winning World Cup with them than what we have right now.
I'm just saying we'd hype up the boys. I'd hype up that Mexican team as much as we could. We'd get the result today. That's all I'm saying.
No,
we wouldn't lose.
I'm a player coach.
Yeah,
you know, like, and I mean, like literally, like I would play.
Okay.
Like I would get minutes on the team, bro. Why wouldn't I? What the fuck? I'm trying to live my fucking dream, dude. If we needed that offensive force, bro, I'm putting myself in.
Yeah, you're set piece guy. You get all the corners, all the free kicks. You're taking that pen.
I would take that pen.
You're taking that pen.
Man. I would have taken that pen gladly. Fernando Cruz says, if this was the Mexico team from 2014 World Cup plus Carlos Vela, we would have destroyed Venezuela.
Oh yeah,
man.
Venezuela's not that good. They're good. Don't get me wrong, but I think a lot of people are saying it's a lot worse than it actually is.
Yeah. And lastly, FIFA Rig says Peso Pluma for Mexican coach. That might be the answer at this point, man. Imagine the vibes of that team, bro. Players with tubas and shit. Damn, man, that'd be a great vibe, a great energy. Man, the Mexico talk is beautiful, but I do think it's time we shift on over to Ecuador versus Jamaica, where we saw Ecuador defeat Jamaica 2-1. Piero Hincapié with one of the craziest, or it wasn't him, but he hit the ball first, causing one of the craziest own goals I think I've ever seen. Yeah, honestly, a golazo.
Pretty freakish. Technically 3-1, by the way.
Got a late
I
forgot
goal.
The last one. I forgot the last one. And then Kendry Paez, I think becoming the second youngest Copa America goal scorer of all time. I'm not sure, scoring a penalty.
Yeah.
And then Jamaica getting one back through Mikel Antonio, trying to push their way back into the match, but ultimately falling short. And then Ecuador gets a third goal at the very end to make it 3-1 and get that goal difference advantage going into their matchup against Mexico. Folks, what did you think about this Ecuadorian performance? I'm seeing comments already. Most rigged as match robbed, you could say, because there was a call in that game where Jamaica was not given a penalty after what looked like an opportunity where the ball hit the Ecuadorian player's hand first, then hit his head, and the ref goes and looks at it and decides not a penalty, and it changed the game.
CONMEBOL phoned in when that moment happened, and they talked to the ref and said, "Don't give the pen. Don't give the pen." I think that's exactly what happened here, bro. Corruption, because Jamaica got robbed in that moment. I don't know how else that decision isn't a penalty. There's no other decision here, bro. It's a penalty, but it did not get called, and it would have equalized the match. And not only that, it would have been the right decision because Jamaica were playing so well up until that moment. And then, of course, they concede a late goal, but that honestly, it was just consolation and that at the end of it. But Jamaica got robbed 100%. There's no other way around this.
You really think they phoned it in, like CONMEBOL made the call?
Something happened, bro.
Because if you're saying that CONMEBOL has the power to make a call like that and impact a game, then maybe we should be careful about talking about this. They got that power, bro. We got to be careful. Damn, dude. But you're right.
But it's so unlucky though for Jamaica, because honestly, once they went down to that freakish goal that Hincapié was able to score, Jamaica responded perfectly. They actually started dominating possession. Now, they couldn't really get into Ecuador's box, but there were moments in transition where Jamaica broke through Ecuador's entire defense. And it was kind of the same thing we saw against Mexico. Jamaica have so much good in that midfield, but they just lack a little bit of clinicality once they get the ball into the final third, whether it's Nicholson or Antonio getting on the ball, Damari Gray coming on in the second half. There's so many good moments that Jamaica share with each other, but ultimately they're just not clinical. Although I do think they deserved a draw today. Just like, honestly, they deserved a draw against Mexico. Jamaica, by far the unluckiest team at this tournament, and unfortunately, they're knocked out.
CONMEBOL doesn't like success from CONCACAF, says KR. This tournament is only for South American teams. I mean, yeah, I think that's what this sounds like, man, because
it's unfortunate.
I think when we saw that call, yes, it was tight. It was tough to kind of distinguish if it was hand first or head first, but I think ultimately it did hit the hand first. Jamaica should have gotten a penalty, and that just changes the game completely, so I can't talk about anything that happened afterwards. What I can talk about is that first own goal. To concede something like that is crazy. Like
also
that,
super
dude,
unlucky.
I think I saw, you could see one of the defenders in the replay just throw his hands up like, bro, what the fuck am I supposed to do about that?
Yeah.
It's one of the craziest own goals it is the craziest one that we've seen so far in a summer full of own goals already. It was just crazy. They conceded though. Their mentality stays really good. And then that Ecuador penalty as well, man. Ecuador penalty makes it 2-0, but they bounce back. They get back into the game. They look good. I agree, man.
Well, and that's what's even more frustrating if you're Jamaica, because what was the penalty call? It was a handball.
Yep.
They got absolutely robbed in this match, 100%. It wasn't even the penalty for them. They also got screwed against them. If you call that as a handball against Jamaica, you have to call the same thing against Alan Franco for Jamaica, but it just didn't happen. Also, think about the penalty that was called for Mexico today. Very similar, with the defender's arm up, just like Alan Franco's. So it's super unfortunate for Jamaica. They are incredibly unlucky, and there's nothing that can be said other than they got screwed over by the ref today.
My thing though is with Ecuador, watching them play, I was curious how they would perform, because we saw them as a team that could top this group and take this moment to go deep on the easier side of the bracket into the Copa America 2 games in now, man. And I compare them a lot to Colombia and just how different they are. I think Colombia is a team that plays for each other. Regardless of the names, regardless of the name that's on the back of the jersey, they play for each other, and we see it time and time again. But Ecuador, man, like Sarmiento and Paez, selfish players at times, man.
Oh, yeah.
Selfish decision-making. And I think it's actually holding them back because the opportunities are there and they shape up themselves for it. I saw so many counterattacks. I saw so many opportunities where Ecuador could have scored a very team-like goal. And it's just really weird decision making. I thought Kendry Paez, for as big of a moment it was for him to score that penalty, I do give him his credit for that. He still makes some really immature decisions on the pitch, man, and decides not to like pass it out when a guy's wide open and takes a shot that just skies itself or something. Yeah. And Sarmiento on the ball a lot, but then sometimes doesn't let it go, man. Doesn't let it go. And with the absence of Ener Valencia, I don't know if there's like a leader that's missing up front, but offensively, Ecuador just doesn't look, I guess, as good as the 3-1 scoreline makes it seem.
Oh, 100%. And I think I'm actually a little bit frustrated for Ecuador in this match because there's so many moments where they get isolated out on the wings, whether it's through Yeboah, Rodriguez, or Sarmiento. And as you already said, they get selfish. Sure, they beat the first guy, but then they just try to do too much. It's very individualistic from Ecuador with their front three. And then Kendry Paez is basically a secondary striker, and I think it leaves a huge hole in the midfield. There's not a lot of chemistry right now with Ecuador. Defensively, they look fine. And I think that's going to be fine. You have William Pacho, you have Piero Hincapié. They're going to lock down most offenses at this Copa America. I'm not worried about that. Preciado, too, is fantastic at going up and down that flank. I like Ecuador's backline. I don't see that as a problem. But when you have Paez basically being a secondary striker, Alan Franco as your attacking midfielder, the only guy who's covering or trying to maintain possession is Caicedo. He literally can't do it alone. You add in the fact that a lot of the players going forward for Ecuador are very selfish right now and being very individualistic. You get this weird product where it's exciting, but once you get to the final third, everything breaks down. Ecuador didn't really score today, if you really think about it. A free own goal, a penalty unlucky for Jamaica, and then the consolation goal at the end. And so Ecuador have had, I would say, a very strange Copa America so far. First game's not their fault, though, because they got a red card. So I don't want to be too critical. We will see more of this Ecuador side against Mexico. It's why I say there's hope, because if Mexico defend the way they did today, they will be able to handle Ecuador's offense, because right now it's not flowing for Ecuador.
I completely agree. 100% completely agree. I'm interested to see what version of Ecuador do we see in that Mexico match, because are they going to somehow figure it out and wake up offensively, or are they going to shut down? I think they do get shut down by this Mexico defense. I do. Yeah. I just wonder if Mexico can generate enough offense to get that goal, to get the lead that we need. And that's where the lineup comes into play. That's where everything we just talked about already comes into play. So that's Ecuador versus Jamaica. Ecuador-Mexico is the match to watch in this group now, with both teams looking to get out of this group because Venezuela has officially qualified. Let's do daily awards. What was the goal of the day for you guys? The goal of the day in the Copa America, we had one goal in the Venezuela versus Mexico match, and then we had 4 in the Ecuador versus Jamaica match. What was the goal of the day? Honestly, I might have to go with that own goal, man. We had 2 penalty goals.
It was pretty crazy.
It was crazy, man.
Yeah,
it's a golazo.
It's a golazo. You're right. The others are just penalties.
I think Chad agrees, bro. Own goal is actually going to win the award of the day. That's crazy. But it was due.
It's due. Were due. It's worth it.
A beauty of an own goal. Performance of the day. Who was the best performer of the day in either Ecuador, Jamaica, or Mexico versus Venezuela? Can you guys give it to a dude like Salomon Rondon? Can you give it to Romo, the Venezuelan goalkeeper who held his line?
Yeah.
Ecuador, Jamaica, was there a standout there for you guys? Caicedo getting shouts?
You could give it to Aramburu, the right back for Venezuela. He was everywhere, literally everywhere. Whether he's clearing it defensively in a center back position or going wide, getting the ball for Venezuela, trying to relieve pressure, I thought he was fantastic too.
Yeah. It looks like Romo's getting some shouts. Hincapié, the goalkeeper. I like the fullback shout, though. I want to go with him.
Yeah.
Because I saw that fool a lot, bro.
Yeah, he was everywhere.
He was talking his shit, too.
Yeah.
He was talking his shit. So I want to go with him. Last one is game of the day. What was the game of the day? Was it Ecuador, Jamaica, or Mexico, Venezuela? I think for me, easily Mexico, Venezuela. The drama, the scenes, the best atmosphere that we've seen so far, a sold-out SoFi Stadium, and Mexico trying to impose themselves. The missed penalty, the drama was so good. Yeah, I can definitely agree to that. I can definitely agree to that. I think Mexico, Venezuela wins the game of the day, which leads me to my last topic, match previews. Let's preview the games happening tomorrow. We have two really interesting matches happening in Group C with Panama facing off against the USA and Uruguay facing off against Bolivia. Let's start with Panama, USA. Your beautiful USA playing in this match, looking to get a victory here to go into the next round. If they get the dub, they're in. And Panama looking to bounce back after a loss to Uruguay 3-1.
I'm nervous. I'm nervous only in the sense that we just have to get 3 points. I don't care how we do it. We need to play the best football that we absolutely can, knowing that we play Uruguay in that third group stage match. But I feel good. I am nervous, but I am excited because we're about to bring that red, white, and blue over to Panama, and we're going to show them. We're going to show them that we are kings of CONCACAF. I like Panama. I think they play some really fun football. The holes in their defense, I think, are going to be exploited, though, by our front three, by our midfield. And the game's going to open up, and I think that only helps the USA. We're going to get the dub tomorrow. No questions asked after that.
This game is being played at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia. Chat has USA winning at 68%, Panama at 23%, a draw at 9%. I just wonder how this Panamanian team is going to come out knowing that they need points now. Are they going to be risky, or are they going to try to play defensive and play it safe and let the USA come at them? That's my only thing. How do they approach this match? But I agree, the USA is the favorite for the game, and they should win it as well. And there's an opportunity here to win it in stunning fashion too.
Absolutely.
There's an opportunity.
After a really tight game against Bolivia because they just bunkered into their own box, this is an opportunity for the USA to have some fun offensively, because Panama themselves, and I respect it, they always go at their opponents no matter who they're facing. We saw that against Uruguay, but like I said, you do that against the USA will beat you.
It looks like the chat agrees with you. Let's move on to the next game. Uruguay versus Bolivia, the last game of the day. Uruguay, it's just a question of how many goals can they get? How many goals can they get?
I am pissed. We have to see Bolivia play, bro.
You don't have to, bro. We can start streaming at the time of that game. Over, under, Uruguay gets 3 goals.
That's a good question. I mean, the thing is, Bolivia might do what they did against the USA and maybe even double down and be even more defensive. I'm curious to see how the coach is trying to adapt his play style to Uruguay. Ultimately, Uruguay are one of the best teams at this tournament, period. So they're going to kill the Bolivians. Let's be honest, man. They're going to kill them.
Yeah, no, I agree. For me, it's just a question. Can they score more goals than the USA did? Do they get stuck on 2? Do they get stuck on 1? Or do we see them get 3, 4, 5? I think we're going to see 3+ goals in this one. I think Uruguay is just going to keep scoring, because for as bad at finishing they were last game, they still got 3. They still got 3 at the end of the day. So I think low-key we see a 4 or 5 in this match. It looks like the chat agrees, because I'm seeing scorelines of 8-0, 7-0, 7-1, 10-0. Jesus, it could get ugly. This one could get ugly. Uruguay winning at 93%. Bolivia at 4%. Draw at 3. Let's look at some super chats here from the Give and Go folks. Make sure to thumbs up this stream. I'm loving the energy. We have Gilberto Godinez saying, own goals for Golden Boot in Euro and now Copa. I mean, dude, this is a crazy trend.
Yeah, I think there's 6 own goals in Europe so far.
6 or 7.
Yeah, and that leads. I think the next highest goal scorer is 3. So
by far. What's the footballing reason for that?
Not just the chaos.
You don't think it's something like I don't know, like the Heat or some shit? I don't know.
I mean, the only ugly own goal was that Turkey one against Portugal.
Terrible.
Or was it Portugal? Yeah, but whichever one. That one was so bad. So other than that, I mean, the own goals have just been crazy.
There really is nothing you could correlate to like why players are scoring own goals, man. Honestly, there's like nothing. It just happens.
Yeah.
It just happens. Guys, thank you so much for joining the stream. I need to go take a break. I need to relax. I need to take in this loss and everything that just happened. Thank you so much for watching. Give us a thumbs up on the way out. We'll be back with more Copa America and Euros coverage. Till next time, guys. Peace.